After 12 days of talking trade, U.S. President Trump bids farewell to Asia. Waiting in Washington, more disturbing revelations about his campaign's connections to the Russians.
I will not accept and reject accusations that I have ever lied. That is a lie.
Tonight, the Attorney General remembering anew. And those Wikileaks emails to Trump Jr., who knew? I'm Brent Goff in Berlin. This is The Day.
Countries were taking advantage of the United States, more than just this region, but the world. And those days are over.
Let me be clear. I have at all times conducted myself honorably.
To me, a relationship based on respect is much more important than anything else.
He was not authorized to represent the campaign with the Russian government.
They have to respect our country, and they have not respected our country for a long period of time.
My answers have not changed. I've always told the truth.
Also coming up, apocalypse. It's all over. Well, those were the headlines telling the world that Italy will not compete in the 2018 World Cup. For a soccer nation, it's the end of the world.
We're all in tears because we did our best, but this will haunt us forever.
Well, we begin the day with evidence that puts the inner circle of the Trump campaign closer than ever to Russia. On Monday, a report in The Atlantic revealed that President Trump's eldest son had been in contact via Twitter with Wikileaks during the race for the White House. U.S. intelligence is convinced that Russia interfered in the U.S. presidential election, and that includes hacking the Democratic National Committee and stealing emails. Those stolen emails were allegedly passed on to Wikileaks. According to this new report, Wikileaks then offered the scandalous material to Trump Jr. On Monday night, after the Atlantic article was published, Trump Jr. released all messages with Wikileaks on his Twitter feed. Now, the timing here is important. On October 12th, Wikileaks messaged Trump Jr. suggesting that his father tweet a link to Wikileaks information about Hillary Clinton. Just 15 minutes later, Donald Trump tweeted what Wikileaks had suggested to Trump Jr. All right, we go to Washington now. Our correspondent Carolina Chamoy is on this story for us. Good evening to you, Carolina. So Donald Trump Jr. is apparently now suspect number one in this investigation.
Hello, Brent. Well, we know very little about the Mueller investigation, and thus we also don't know who is suspect number one. However, the findings are very significant. This shows a clear coordination between Trump's campaign last year, 2016, and WikiLeaks. The question is, did Trump Jr. already know that WikiLeaks was offering him what they were offering him, and that this was originally obtained by Russia? And did he also know that WikiLeaks had these ties to the Russian government? So there are still lots of questions to be answered. And if he did know about these ties, this would be a point of direction of accepting Russian meddling in the U.S. elections 2016. It would be, of course, another piece in this big puzzle of the alleged Russian meddling in the U.S. elections last year.
All right, our correspondent in Washington on the story for us tonight, Carolina Chamoy. Carolina, thank you very much. The political storm with Russian clouds and WikiLeaks webs, that awaits U.S. President Donald Trump. It threatens to overshadow what he is calling a very successful tour of Asia. Trump had a packed visit, taking him to Japan, South Korea, China, Vietnam, and the Philippines. The president said he had made progress with his agenda on trade, and he also claimed to have made friends at the highest level in the region. Well, I'm joined now by Annalise Ryle. She's a professor at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York. She's an expert on transnational policy and relations in Asia. Professor, it's good to have you on the show. How successful do you think Trump's tour of Asia really was?
Well, I think for U.S. interests, it was simply a disaster. I think we'll look back on this trip as a moment in which the U.S. seems to have abdicated its traditional leadership role. You know, leadership is about a lot more than economic power, a lot more than military power. It's about values, and it's about expertise. And unfortunately, our president this time did not live up to those qualities.
On Air Force One earlier today, Trump told reporters that he had forced, if you will, countries in Asia to respect the U.S. again. Was there a deficit of trust by Asian countries to begin with?
No, I think he's quite wrong on that. In Asia in general, there has long been quite a lot of trust of the United States. In fact, the U.S. has played a very important leadership role in Asia since about World War II. Asian peoples on the whole really respect education, they respect preparation, they respect expertise, and they frankly don't understand the shoot from the hip sort of style that President Trump displayed on this trip. And the fact that the U.S. didn't come to the table with a clear proposal, didn't move the ball forward on any of the important issues in the region, from trade to security, I think is going to contribute to a loss of respect, not a gaining of respect.
Professor Annalise Riles joining us tonight from Cornell University in the U.S. Professor Riles, thank you very much. We appreciate your insights.
Thank you.
Well, U.S. President Trump has come under fire for cozying up to authoritarian leaders in China and the Philippines during his trip to Asia. He even called Philippines president a self-proclaimed killer, one of his friends. Now, according to Mr. Duterte's spokesman, the U.S. president did not bring up reports of human rights abuses by police in the Philippines' crackdown on drug trafficking. Well, if the U.S. president refuses to wade into choppy waters, the Canadian Prime Minister, apparently he has no problem getting wet. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said that he had a firm and frank talk with Duterte about human rights abuses. At a press conference today, the Philippine president did not hold back when he was asked how he felt about Trudeau's questions.
It is a personal and official insult. That is why you hear me throwing down epithets, curses, nagmumura, bullshit and everything. Because it angers me. When you are a foreigner, you do not know exactly what is happening in this country. You don't even investigate. You only show before the United Nations a record of how many persons died. I said, well, you can investigate.